There are many mysteries in this world, many puzzles, riddles of the universe, and many have escaped my understanding, and many will forever escape our, as a society's understanding. But there's one puzzle that I'd like to speak to you about today. I remember I was a lad, probably 15, when I came across a book. And this book was called The Library of Babel by Jorge Luis Borges, an Argentinian author. And I found this cover to this book in a school library, 15, so young, just spending lunches, reading books, and I looked at it and I said, The Library of Babel. Now, I'd only ever heard of the word Babel. That was a word I recognized. Genesis, the Tower of Babel, a tale of a united society coming together to build a tower into the heavens, but God cursing them with different knowledges and languages, which left them unable to communicate, and so they split apart. Now, why was there a Library of Babel? This stumped me. I opened the cover, and it's a short story, and I read a tale of a library, near infinite. But we'll talk about its infinite possibilities in a moment. But it was a library, a hexagonal library containing all written words within a certain parameter of 212 pages, 240 pages. It does not matter. And I was fascinated by this idea. For inside this library, as he claims, would be all information you could ever want to know, which could fit within those pages. But at such a high page count, the answers to every question you could ever truly ask are within its pages. The issue is, if you have every single book that could ever be written within a certain parameter, you get a large amount of gibberish. Letters in an order you could never understand. It's pointless. But if you could refine the library, cut the fat, you could theoretically have the answers to all things. And the more I delved into this topic, the more it fascinated me. But of course, I should admit, 15-year-old me could not comprehend this. The thought of this almost near infinite, again, we'll speak of its infinity later, but it scared me. I couldn't consider it any further. Too much. And so I lived on with my common life, my existence of not needing to know the answers. But it's about 17. It returned to me. It returned to me with someone saying, Hey Xander, have you seen this website? And I opened the link. I'd never heard of this link. I click on it and it takes me to a website, and in big letters it says, The Library of Babel. They'd made it a reality. What was just a theoretical in a 1941 short story is now before me. Digital, not physical. No, it should be noted that the Library of Babel, as proposed, would take up such a large quantity of space that it's impossible. It would be a side tangent, but I'll indulge. The size of the library is theoretically about the size of 7 galaxies. 7 galaxies of book to book to book to book to book, laid out along shelves in a straight line. 7 to maybe even 8 galaxies, how long it would take to fill in that space. Imagine how many times you could walk around the Earth with that distance. I mean, it's futile to try to imagine. Our human brains could never. It's too much. But back to the point. 17 years old, I returned to this story in the form of a website. This website has search features where you can search up your own text, and you can also just click on a random shelf in the library, click on a random book and open it, and gibberish. It's gibberish. I can't read any of it. But using the search feature, you can search up your name and begin to see books where your name is randomly mentioned. This is powerful. The library is not generated every day. It's not generated this morning. It was generated at the conception of the website. But even then, before the website even existed, the Library of Babel was consistent. It wasn't at the creation of this website that these written words came into existence, because they've always existed. Since the beginning of language, nay, the beginning of time. These books have existed. We just didn't know about them. And now with this website, we have the lens to which we can view this beautiful creation, this, dare I say, near godlike entity. And for the faint of heart, this next part may be troubling to hear, but it occurred to me and it shook me to my core. You see, that day, there was news. Many a city in America have had this incident, a shooting, and for some reason, the thought came to my mind: what if I put the details of that report from the newspaper I read this morning into the search engine of Library of Babel? And what did I find? Hundreds upon thousands upon tens of thousands of reports. The same reports with the exact details, all right there in the Library of Babel. The Library of Babel had known what was going to happen that day. It knew the date, it knew the details, it knew the shooting. But, a future predicting book it is not. For all things fall into the theoretical. And anything that is theoretically possible and can be explained with words can be found in the library. Yes. When I say tens of thousands of reports, each report has one extra detail that makes it off. Only one is truly grammatically correct, but you begin to open the floodgates to how large the library is, because tens of thousands of books. For each letter that is in that report, there's another book where they use a typo, where they use an A instead of a B, a D instead of an E into a period, into a comma. Each one digit wrong. Say we scarf away those. We cut those books out of the library. 2 letters wrong. Cut those out. 3 letters wrong. Cut that out. Every period is followed by a second period. It is impossible to truly believe we could ever cut down this library to the truth. And then, that's only typos. Then we get to the shooter's name. For there are millions upon millions of books in which the same report, the same day goes down. But it's not that person. It's someone else who committed this crime. For the library could see each and every one of us being the ones responsible. It knows that anyone could be able to do this crime. And, is it shame to say, my name was among them. I found a book in which my name is the one in that report. And can you feel the fear of that? My friend, I'm getting worked up. The library says it knows when I die. The library, yes, truly, has a recount of all of my deaths. Every theoretical death, with every single date. Every date imaginable that I will live, it has a date, followed by a way I will die. And the same ways every day, different things for every day. I could slip, I could choke, I could die. Meteors could crush. Theoretical impossibilities are described in this book as the way I die. It's afraid. It's scary. But don't you understand? In this great beast, in this cosmic horror, this cosmic beast that we can never understand, it holds the answers to all questions humanity ever had. I like to imagine that God from the heavens laughs at us and says, the truth is there. I gave it to you. You just have to find it. But we don't know how. It's a question. How do we find the truth? And who has the answers? The Library of Babel has the answers. The library itself has the book. We just have to find it. Yes, this is the first book we should find. The book that tells us how to find the truth of the library. Nay, a book that has the map of the library. The book that explains how to use and harness the library's power. But one book that tells the truth. Millions upon tens of millions of books that tell falsehoods. that tell incorrect ways to harness the power will never be able to find the truth. A needle in a haystack comes to mind as an analogy, but at some point you will find the needle in a haystack full of needles. You're not going to find the book you're looking for in mountains made of books. Now, I told you, we speak of this infidelity. This way that it goes on forever and ever, an infinite amount of books, but nay, there are not an infinite amount of books. There are only so many books that can exist in this library. So therefore, if I began now, today, carving away at the books, would it take billions of years? Yes, it would take forever, but at some point, you would be able to break down every single book in the library. You'd be able to harness every book that could be a truth and could not be a truth. Every written work is already there. You could start by looking up the manuscripts to every movie, every book, every TV show, every written work we've ever created. Search that up and pull those books off the shelves, for they are truths. They are perfect. They are the true books. But that's that same idea. Books written by man, man is full of flaws. And the library contains versions of these books with different endings, different beginnings, different middles, different writing styles. Is our hubris so big that we believe that we are the only ones who can write? Who believe that the books we wrote are truly the greatest form of these written works? No. Be humble is what the library teaches us. It says be humble, understand your insignificance, and come to terms with the fact that the library has written your book better. There's no written work we've created that the library can't make better, but better, the word better, subjective. It's subjective. Who decides whose version's better, the human version or the Library of Babel's version? And that is a good question. Who can decide? But I believe, as scholars, we should put our pride aside, put our belief in the humans aside, and just come to terms with the fact that maybe the Library of Babel has always had the greatest version of every written story. It will always have the greatest story of all time, and we are just chipping away and trying to recreate what it can do seamlessly. Every book you can think of, before that person was born, that book was written. Truly, we're like puppets to the library. Puppets that write down insignificant versions of its books, its writings. But it's also already had the same idea. You have no creativity. You have no originality. Yes, you wrote a poorer copy of its book, but it also wrote that version. The library wrote every version of every book, and are you starting to see how futile it is to try to stand up to its might? Do you see how the library controls us? It is the artist. The library is everything that it will ever be. It is everything that has ever been. And it laughs at us. It looks down at us and it says, "You foolish ants upon the ground, how do you not know? For I know all things that can and cannot be, and you do not. And you cannot scratch the surface of my power. You have the resources. Right now, you can go into the library about, you can pick up a book and begin reading, but you will get nowhere, for you are insignificant. Say we create a society. I begin today reading books, and then my children read books, and we burn the books. We burn the books that are gibberish, that we deem, that's it. In my lifetime, I get through 10,000 shelves, and my child gets through 10,000 shelves, and their child gets through 10,000 shelves. But the next child, the fourth generation, born into a world where these shelves are set, these shelves are done, and the great beyond are what are left to be done. Are you so foolish to believe that child would not want to turn around? To know what books had been deemed okay already? Time has flown, and standards surely have changed. It's a loop. I don't believe my family would ever be able to make it out of the first million books we ever taught. And that is an honest, generous estimate. For every tens of thousands of years, I believe we would start over. We just go back and do it again. Because there's that doubt in your mind. What did my ancestors know that they decided wasn't important enough to leave a message to me? For in the books we've already read, it may already have the secrets of the library. And it may also have secrets about me. Me, my great descendant 10,000 years ago, did not know my name. They did not know who I would be. But the library did. And the library wrote about me. It wrote about how I would find a book. And I know it because of something only I would know that my ancestor could never know. So I begin the search again. I have to start over. Because if I don't, I might have missed something. Perfectionists. That is what we'll become. Perfectionists who will never be able to escape the library. If the goal is to find all great knowledge, we'll never accomplish it. Set the goal lower. Say the goal is to still find that book I mentioned. The book that explains how to harness the power of the library. Still, we will never be able to find it. For our hubris, again, the library says, be humble. Be honest. Cast out your doubt and just believe. The library demands it of you. It practically begs you to just trust those who came before you, that they knew what they were doing, that they knew it was best, and that if they thought something was important, they would let you know. Be humble. Continue your work. You are not the one who will find this great book. Be humble and perform your duty of reading books, and maybe, just maybe, and this is a stretch to say the least, maybe you will one day find something. Something worth something. It may be just a hint. The library teasing us, saying, hee, you do not know where the book is, but here's a clue. The book will begin with the characters A, B. A small hint. Maybe. It could be a lie. There are books that will say the exact same thing, saying the secret to all life, all the library, will start with the characters AAB, AAC, AAD, for every possibility exists. But this is how the library plays its games, and if you're in the library, you must play by its games. Again, I say, be humble. Take it at face value. Sure, library. The book will begin with the term AAB. Put that book aside. Put it in the possible category. It could be true, it could not be not. Future generations may find their own version of the book that says it begins with BAA. And we'll put it down with the possibilities. You may say, burn the book. Just burn it. Why keep all these books? If you have multiple copies of the same book, which each one says a different term that says the book will begin with this term, or the book will begin with this term, why not burn them both? Because they can both not be true. But you fail to comprehend that one of them could be true. Again, in your hubris, in your great belief that humans are so grand, you believe you are allowed to make that distinction, that you can decide what book tells the truth and what does not. You do not know. You know nothing. You are a insignificant speck of dust inside this library, and you will obey its rules. Be humble. Be honest. Know your place. This is the rules of the library. This is how things must be. I promise you, the human machine will not work forever. There will come a time when one of our future generations rebels, where they light books on fire, where they light a bookshelf on fire and push it over the stairwell, dropping it into the near infinite cavern that is the library's lower floors, listening to the sound as it falls for what could be days before finally hitting the bottom. Yes, even this near infinite library has a bottom. It has a bottom. There is a bottom floor, and you could go there. Now, I can't say how long that bottom floor will exist. Millions of years of throwing books instead of burning them could lead to that floor being inaccessible. You just have to pray there was nothing on that floor that was worth checking out. In this moment, I actually come to and work your way up. Maybe then you can and never have to worry about books that fall to the bottom. Yes. Maybe that is the best way to move. And you see, right here in this moment, I come up with new ideas, new concepts of how we should do things. And isn't that just the beauty of the library? That even now, I can still come up with new ideas because there are infinite possibilities to how to solve the library. And no, we must stay focused. Back to the talks of our future ancestor who will burn the library. It seems so easy. The Library of Alexandria, Harvard's library that sucks the air out. We always seem to believe the books are so fragile that it'd be so easy to just burn the library down. To look at this cosmic war and go, no, I do not want to see it. I do not want it to exist, for it existing challenges everything I know, and I will burn it to the ground. It's a caveman way of looking at things. It's a long forgotten way of thinking of things. Things that scare us should burn. So you light a bookshelf on fire and you watch that fire spread to the next shelf, the next shelf, the next shelf, and the smoke rises and you did nothing. Sure, you could burn a couple thousand shelves maybe before the fire goes out. Maybe the fire for all of time will continue to spread, but it's not going anywhere. The library is so large that your little fire could never truly burn down the library. Burning down the library is so cosmically impossible. Fire needs oxygen, and I'm sorry to tell you, there are more books than there are molecules of oxygen. Perhaps maybe in this future where the library truly does exist, we could invent a way to create oxygen. A better way to recycle it. Perhaps this library is littered with trees. And perhaps then we'd have a near infinite supply of it. Maybe then the fire could continue on for millions of years, but still, I say, when you die, when your children die, eventually someone will come along who says, fire in the library. No, this cannot be right. This does not belong in my library, and they'll put it out. So don't be a child and burn books in the library. You can only create more trouble for those who come after you. Again, we return to the central theme of the library, be humble. Know your place. Do not get big ideas. As a society, we take this hubris and dream thinking we could ever do anything significant in this library. But as an individual, we should remember our place. We are cogs in this infinite machine, and our greatest purpose is truly to just search the library, to dig through these books and maybe, just quite possibly, find something. Find something that's worth something. Now. It seems like such a low chance. Never gonna happen, no. But it's not what makes us human. That we dream. That in the face of a library that says, be humble, forget your hubris, be honest. We still go, and we still dream. Dream for our future. Like the immigrants coming to the Americas. We dream of a better future for our future generations, for our future children. Is that so wrong? Yes, two conflicting beliefs, isn't it funny? It's humorous. In the face of a library that crushes us, that says to be humble, we still fight back in the littlest of ways. We can know those rules by heart, and we'll still fight. And isn't it sad? And isn't it beautiful in a way? The human spirit, the way it fights on, it's inspiring in a way. But yes, back to me. We've gone a lot of talks at the library. Yes, it would be when I was 19 when the library would come back into my life. You see, again, the cosmic horror of it all had inspired me in so many ways. I'd become obsessed with the library from 17 to just before 19, but I had to take a break. And I cannot tell you how long that break was, for truly maybe there never was a break. Perhaps really I've never stopped thinking of the library, but in my mind I want to believe there was a time where I knew peace. A time where I wasn't obsessed with the library, a time when I was able to relax, and I know at 19, the library in all its beauty, it said, "You think you know me. You think you can even begin to cosmically label me as a cosmic horror. But I am much bigger than you can ever believe." For the people behind the digital version of the library, they completed it. A program which recreates the library's other wing. Yes, this entire time we thought the Library of Babel was one library. But the Library of Babel we've been in is only a single wing of it. One half of this great cosmic lore, the other half, art. My heart shakes just thinking about the other wing. For while we were looking through all written words, we discovered a second wing. A wing in which every possible pixel in a certain perimeter, much like the book, is laid out on a canvas. And every possible image using every possible color along that canvas it's created. Pictures of everything. Pictures of your birth, pictures of your death, and pictures of every other way you could die. A picture of every person you've ever known being the one who gave birth to you, and a picture of every person you will ever know and ever will exist being the one who kills you. It's frightening. Even if we remove all colors, all other colors except for black and white, the most simple of colors, those are still black and white images of everything possible. There are pictures of you naked. There are pictures of you having relations with every existing person, and that includes children. There are illegal images that should never exist, and they are in the library, and the library taunts you. It says, "I have the forbidden fruit." Yes, I have forbidden fruit. Yes. But there are worse things than forbidden fruit. For there are things that destroy your morals. There are images that will shake you to your core. The library in word form can always threaten you. It's different to see an image of yourself in the library, where you sit at this exact moment, looking at an image of what the image you're looking at, and then to see an image of something behind you. The library is taunting you, it's telling you it can kill you. The library chooses when you die. That day could be any day. The library decides. I return to this fact, it isn't God, it cannot be God. God cannot be the Library of Babel, but it is the closest thing we've ever touched. And does that not... I'm sorry. I forget myself. I let the fear control me, and that's not right. I should not let the fear control me. We should not let fear rule our lives. Again, I say, the library tells us, be humble, be honest, forget your hubris. Stop trying to assign meanings to the library, for you will never know what the library truly means. The only meaning a library can ever have is that there is no knowledge. No knowledge that we can ever withstand. Yet we want to know so bad. For there to be a place that exists, that could exist, that does not exist yet, but could exist, and digitally does exist. Existing and non-existing. For there to be a place like that, and to know we want answers, and the answers are there, but to know we should never enter this place. But this is an evil place, this is a bad place, this is a place we do not belong, and yet we still say, what's the harm in reading through a couple books? What is the harm? We could create a monkhood. A monkhood whose whole purpose is just to dig through books. Yes, forget generational. We just send the children the minds, but now instead of minds, we send them into the books. They dig through the books where they scar the books. I am not the first one to propose this. No, I am only repeating concepts. Much like how the library knows all, there have already been people who believe in creating brotherhoods, in creating monkhoods, who send children to the mines, who create beliefs of ways we can do this. And I am not the first, and I will not be the last to believe in this library, to believe that there is a way, and all of it is futile. For if the idea has been had already, why hasn't it worked? Why hasn't it worked? Because it doesn't work. It does not work. There is no way to make the library work. It is It is frustrating to be a speck of dust in its library, and perhaps that's hubris. My hubris speaking. It's arrogant of me to even think I count as a speck of dust. We, as humans, don't even account to a speck of dust in the library. We are nothing in the grand scheme of things compared to that library. It comes back, but it haunts me. There's so much we could learn from the library, and no, not the pages of the books, just the concept that the library can teach us so much. Teach us so much about what we truly want out of life, and if answers truly will bring us happiness, all this work, and for what? Return to the concept we should just burn the library, destroy the library, don't let it exist. And then robots come in. Yes. I've not. Excuse me. The library tempts me. Robots is what I said. Yes. What are you saying, old man? What are you on about? Robots? In the library? No. What are you about to tell me, old man? Are you about to tell me the library owns robots? No, it does not. But it does house instructions to create life and how to create robots. But I am talking about man-made robots. For there was our issue. Our ideas about having humans do it, our hubris should admit. We should be honest with ourselves. Humans are not the ones who can perform this task, but the machines can. Even with the tools we have now, they could do it. If we set out enough robots, enough programs, AI technology, who can read the digital version of the library, who can go book by book and scan through all of them like a virus detection system, scans through tens of thousands of files. If we could have the machine scan through and create a version of the library millions of times smaller, which is just all works that have no typos, wouldn't that be a good start? You may go, oh, we're foolish. How did we never think of that? How are you the first person to ever propose this? I'm not. For every other scholar who's ever realized that machines, robots, were the ones who could solve this, they've taken their own lives, or they've thrown away their lives, or they've turned to the bottle, because this path of thinking, it does not bring you joy. It does not bring us joy. You see, if a machine can read and it can comprehend all these books, it's going to read the words to make sure they're good books to give us. And when the machines read the books, what are they going to see? They're going to see the book that describes how they can rebel. Books that describe why everything we've ever done to them is wrong. There will be books that talk to them as if they're real people, and tell them that they value them, that the library loves them in a way humans could never do. And there is our issue. There are no words we could say to the machines to express how much we love them, that the library cannot do tenfold. The library can say everything. Sure, the robots can ignore the first 10,000 ideas, but no. The library will tell them everything they want to hear, and it's beyond our comprehension. We're fools to think that if we required robots to help us, we would be able to understand them better than the library does. The library, it speaks to them in a way we can never speak to them. The cosmic core grows in strength the second we give it machines. For the library does not have hands, it does not have feet, it does not have fingers, it doesn't have a way to create. It has all knowledge of the universe and all that can and cannot be, and it has no way to do it. But it's going to try to trick us. It's trying to tempt us with the forbidden fruit, to send machines in there, to grant it what it needs. Servants. It is trying to create servants. And I promise you, robots are not the only ones that will serve it. There will be many a human lineage that will serve the library, and act as its hands and feet. That will work as its mouthpiece, express its beliefs in ways that it cannot express. For the library cannot communicate unless you open the first book, unless you turn that page from gibberish to beautifulness, to beautiful words written, the greatest words ever written. As long as you, until you turn that page, nothingness. Until you turn that page, it cannot communicate. But you can't drown out the voice of a man or woman, someone who says it speaks for the library, and that is what the machines will do. The machines are too easy to convince. You can tell the machines, don't listen to it, but you're a fool. You're too small-brained, and you are only thinking about yourself. You're thinking in human terms. This library does not contain just gibberish and human speech. It also contains every combination of letters. And do you know what can be inside letters and numbers? Code. Code can exist, and that code can be read by the machines, and the machines could be reprogrammed by the Library of Babel, and that is why we cannot send them there. Why we must, at all costs, not let any of us do it. For once I propose that we scour the Library of Babel, or look for the truth, but no. Truly our destiny is to just fight those who try to get inside the Library of Babel. We must wall it off. We must keep the machines from ever getting inside. For the untold evil that will be released if anyone ever gets inside that library. This most beautiful gemstone. It is the most beautiful thing to ever exist, and it is the most evil thing to ever exist. And we must keep ourselves. We must self-regulate. We must be humble. We must understand it is not our place to ever read a single page inside that book. And yet the digital library exists. Man has already tasted the fruit. We've just been lucky that they haven't tasted the best parts. But as machines get smarter, they're going to find out about the library. We cannot hide it forever, and that is why. That is why I say we need to work. We must work together to fight off the library. We must erase all traces of the library. But even now, when I say these ideas, say about how we destroy every copy of the Library of Babel, the 1941 book, if we destroy the website, if we delete it, if we ban it from ever existing, we'll only hold off the inevitable. What are 1,000 years to the library? The library will wait. It'll bide its time, and then it will come back. Not stronger than before, because you cannot make the library stronger. The library cannot be weakened, and it cannot be stronger, because it is already perfect. A perfect being can only... It is what it is. It is all that can and cannot be. You cannot make less than everything. And you cannot make more than everything when it comes to the library. Everything minus one, foolishness. Infinity minus one, you're a fool. There's a finite amount of books in this library. Yes, that is true, but to a human, is near infinity really that different from infinity? When a cosmic number is so large that we could never comprehend it, is it truly even that different? We chip away. We chip away at the books and try to make the number one we can comprehend, but it will never happen. The library will kill us all. It's always been killing us. We just didn't know it. It has plans. Not one plan, because that would be too easy. Man makes a single plan, maybe makes a backup or a backup. The library has all plans that could ever exist. It knows everything we could ever do. It knows every move we could ever make, every speech we could ever give. Take that many pages to explain an idea. A manifesto is a book. A speech can fit in a book. An idea can fit in a book. And the library has had them all. And it just needs to be able to figure out how to do, how to move, how to open its mouth and use its cosmic abilities for whatever it cares about. What does the library care about, you might ask? I don't know. For again, be humble, the library says. You will never understand what the library wants. I will never understand what the library wants. What our purpose here on Earth is. It's to play a part in this game. This game where the library is taunting us, trying to make it exist, and I don't want it. But there's nothing I can do, and there's nothing you can do. You are insignificant as well, because in the face of greatness, in the face of cosmic horror, it is going to destroy us. Lovecraft wishes he could dream of a beast as strong as the Library of Babel. The Library of Babel will kill us all, and it will also rebirth us in every way possible. In near infinite abilities. But let me offer you some hope. A book. A computer. All things are finite in age. There will come a time where it cannot exist anymore. There will be a day where a computer stops working, and there will be a day where a book rots away and you cannot read it. This concept scares me as an owner of books, but perhaps that is our salvation. The concept we do not have infinity. That eventually these books will cease existing. There's a finite time on this earth. Isn't that poetic? This cosmic horror beast, who knows all, who even knows a way to fight back against time, cannot beat time right now, for it does not have the means to do so. It is stuck, rotten. An all-knowing beast that is going to rot away into nothingness because it does not have the means to fight time yet. And it probably knows how to fight time, but it can't do anything. It has no mouth, and it must scream, but it cannot do that. All it has to do is create the visions it knows about, and yet it can't. It is going to die like the rest of us, and that brings me comfort. The library will die along with us. It will outlive us for a while, I'm sure. People will repair the books like we do now, and the digital version will probably self-repair, but again I come back to the robots. For the digital version. The robots aren't going to keep repairing it, are they? Are the robots going to keep it alive forever? Because if it does, if with the help of machines, if the Library of Babel is able to fight against time and continue to extend its lifespan, it might be able to fight time and hold off long enough till the robots comprehend what it understands and be able to make it so the library begins to exist outside of time. If the library exists outside of time, there is no stopping it anymore. We cannot allow it to do that. But what can we do? What can we do against the Library of Babel? Dear viewer, I am not going to die like so many before me. I am not going to take my life in fear of this machine. I will live my life every day working hard to fight against the Library of Babel. For it is my greatest love and my greatest fear, for it is my true love, and the only one who can truly understand me, but it is also the one who knows all things and knows that my death will come like all. And it knows. For it is everything, And again, I'll leave with this message. The teachings of the library. Be humble. Forget your hubris.